Hi, I'm Shaz, and I'm an herpetophobe. You may ask, what is an herpetophobe? An herpetophobe is someone who is afraid of reptiles. I'm afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of lizards. I'm petrified of lizards, iguanas, all of that stuff. And also, I am afraid of frogs. I don't know if they fall into the reptile or amphibious family. I think they're more amphibian, and I don't know what the fear of that is called, but I rarely see them. I see more lizards, and so I am extremely petrified. I'm mortified when I see one. And I've had people to ask me, well, where are you from? I says, I'm from Trinidad. This is, well, you're from the islands and you're afraid of lizards? Yes, I'm afraid of lizards. Because the lizards in the islands, I guess the culture is different. They don't try to be friendly. They don't try to get into the space of a human being. I guess they probably realize that we have dominion over the land, so they don't try to be in your space. They do run away from you. Here, what I find is that the lizards they're attracted to me. Maybe to nobody else, but I have the attractive factor for reptiles. And I could see them with my eyes closed. Nobody else will see it, but I can see it even if it's a mile away. I'm like, there's a lizard. Not until they reach upon it will they see it. But I say all that to say this, that fear is something that could really control you negatively. I have literally been housebound. I don't go outside my house unless I'm going to leave and go into my car and go someplace else. I do not enjoy where I live. I don't enjoy my yard space. I have a huge front yard, a huge backyard that I don't enjoy. When I started, I said it would be so great if I was above that fear, and I could probably be planting food in my backyard. I could be doing different things in my backyard that I don't. I barely even look through the window because I think if I look outside, I'm going to see a lizard, and I don't want to see it. I can feel when they're in my house, even when nobody else thinks they're there. I can tell. I dream them. I have nightmares. I don't know if this is a past life experience. I've probably been traumatized. Maybe my consciousness has been traumatized by some experience with a lizard. I personally think it's a dinosaur, because when I do see a lizard, what I see is a T-Rex. That's what I see. I see a dinosaur. I'm the person that didn't watch, what was it called? That show. That movie with the dinosaurs. I can't even remember the name of it. I can see it in my head. But that movie with all the dinosaurs, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Godzilla. I don't want to see these movies because they just look so horrible. And when you think about it, a lizard has never really bitten me or attacked me per se. I remember when I was like 7 and going to prep school, a Montessori school, one of my classmates had put a salamander down my shirt in the library. It was a red salamander. And I still don't think that I was scared then, of course, because who wants to have a reptile on them? But I don't think I was as fearful of a lizard from that day on to in my late 20s when I'm living in Florida and there's so many lizards. I don't know, I guess because I see so many of them and then I get really scared, and it affects my life. It does affect my life. Okay, I've been since January says, okay, I'm gonna walk again, I'm gonna go outside and have some, but every time I step out that door, there's a damn lizard. And then I says, you know what? I'm going to stay inside. I'm going to read. I'm going to do something else. But now, things are changing health-wise for me, that I have to do something. I have to move. I have to get out. I have to overcome that fear so that I can get out of the house and enjoy nature. I'm just not the nature girl. I'm a humanitarian, but I'm not that nature chick. So this morning I decided to go walking. I kind of delayed it a little bit, and then in my head I'm saying, well, maybe the earlier you go out, you probably won't see the lizards, because if it's cool, they probably would not be out. But which I know is BS, because I was looking forward to that over the winter months when it gets a little bit cooler in Florida, and I said, okay, that's the time I'm going to go out and walk. And these lizards were out there even in the cold when they normally wouldn't be. So these are some type of hybrid lizards. I don't know. And you know, they have the little fat tail, the fat curly tail ones that look like little miniature alligators. Oh my God. There's one in my front yard, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just, every time I see it's getting bigger. And I think it had a baby the other day. Well, I was able to get the baby because, you see, because of my fear, I have armed myself with weapons to fight these lizards. Okay. Now, I don't think that I have the unmitigated gall to kill, like to go kill one, like to take a broom or a shoe or something and try to kill it. I just couldn't even stand that thought. And personally, I think that it will retaliate and probably jump up and jump on me or something. I don't know, because they look so resilient. So I wouldn't even do that. That's my fear. So I would try to get rid of it at a distance. So, you know, over the years I have done research as to what will get rid of them, because you can't call like an exterminator to ask them, because they're going to give you a whole lecture in ecology and how important these lizards are to the environment and about them killing bugs and killing all this. But the damn lizards that live by me, they're lazy, or they're in the union or something, because they do not kill the bugs. They do not kill anything more than just stick around there to terrify me. So they're terrorists in my eyes. I think I am going to write to Congress so they can declare all of these reptiles to be terrorists because of my fear. I personally believe they have no place on the planet. I can't see where they fit in. Now, other people might see it, and you know, they try to give me every which reason. I think they have no use. I think they are useless. They have no worth. They have no value. They have nothing to contribute to my existence on this planet, or to the ecology, or the evolvement of life itself. I just think that lizards should be extinct. And if I could find a way to extinct these reptiles, I will. So, like I said, I did research. I found out that mothballs will keep them away. So, for a long time, when people come to my house, they'd be like, your house smells like an old lady house. I don't care if my house smells like an old lady house. But I had mothballs by my front door. But with it being so hot in Florida, the heat tends to evaporate the mothballs. So they don't stay around, you know, they don't last too long. In the winter months, they last a little bit longer in the winter months. But for the summer months, no, they don't. So I decided one day, out of experiments, you know, to get some wasp and hornet spray. The only reason I chose the wasp and hornet spray was because on the can it says it will shoot 20 to 22 feet away. So I knew that I didn't have to be up on my enemy. I could be far away and I could ambush my enemy. So that will work. I have a can in my car. I have a can in the house, like a couple of cans in the house, because I got one in my bedroom. I have one like in the living area. So that's because before too, I had experimented with other noxious things like mixing bleach and ammonia, and then I would have to put on a gas mask when I had to move it, when I had to spray it. I used to keep Tilex in my car so that I could spray, you know, around my front door before I would run from my car to the front door. That's how bad it is. And again, this morning as I was walking, I went down a couple of streets because I'm now getting familiar with my neighborhood. Unfortunately, I've been here for a while. Don't know my neighborhood because I wouldn't walk. And I saw a dead lizard. It was a big one. It might be like a baby iguana or something. It was a big one. But it was dead for a while. It wasn't like just dead. Because if it was just dead, man, I would be in the marathon. And I would be in the Brazilian Olympics today, because I would have done some tricks that nobody would have seen. But it was flat, like looking like leather. Okay, that's how old it was. So it probably been driven over like quite a few times, because obviously it was probably hit by a car or something because it was in the street. Because I was walking in the I was walking in the street because I don't want to be on the sidewalk because they have lizards up against people's bushes and fence. So I kind of like stay in the street. So in case of anything, I could, you know, run for cover or run away from cover. I don't know. And I will tell you that it gave me such joy to see that somebody got that lizard. I was so enamored with whoever it was. They know who it was, but I think if I saw them, I would give them a hug. You know, probably genuflect, kiss their ring. I don't know, but I was like, wow, somebody got it. Somebody got it. And whoever that person was my hero. Because that lizard was dead, and it seems as though a few more people ran over it, and now it was one with the pavement. And I felt such a relief. I didn't want to say no rest in peace lizard or none of that stuff. I didn't even care. After I walked a couple blocks, of course, there was another lizard. You know, a real one, live one, coming out of the bushes somewhere. So that kind of ended my walk. But, you know, I said I was going to walk for 30 minutes. So it was, you know, a little over. But it was, I said, you know what, I'm going to head back home. That was it. The lizard just came. That one lizard ruined my entire day. And I came into my house. And this morning I saw something on the floor in the kitchen that I thought maybe a piece of paper or something. I didn't know what it was. When I was getting dressed, I didn't have all my glasses. And when I came back in, I had on my glasses, and I was coming to my studio in the back. I realized that it was a lizard that was there in my house. I knew there was a lizard in my house. It was still there. And so I armed myself with my hornet spray, and I sprayed it. And I sprayed it. And I sprayed it. And I messed up all my drapes, and the whole floor was sprayed, and I have tiles on the floor. But as I said, I knew that lizard was going to be dead. And so I had to go inside, and I changed my clothes or whatever, and then coming back out to my studio. And I slipped in the same freaking weapon that I used against that lizard. Because it's oily, I slipped and fell in my house. And hurt myself. Not badly, nothing is broken. But I slipped and fell, and it could have been worse. Because I could have fell down the stairs, but I didn't. The weapon that I used against that lizard was the same weapon that could have caused my life today. And again, I said all of that to say this. That non-black people have a fear of black people. Non-black people who have oppressed black people have an even greater fear of black people. Our melanin dominance is so powerful that it causes fear. Now, mind you, we could be going about our daily business, minding our business. Our minds could be someplace else. But just the mere presence of us will cause them to be fearful. Like the lizard. Could be going about his business. Don't even have shots to think about. But the mere fear that I have of that lizard is going to make me really very uneasy and uncomfortable. And if I am in fear, then I'm going to be thinking of a way to protect myself. See that even when it's a baby lizard, and I've had people to laugh at me and say, Shaz, but it's just a baby. I said, that baby got a mama, that baby got a papa. That baby got the other cousins, aunts, uncles, siblings. That baby has the lizard police. That baby probably even have the Geico insurance lizard that's going to show up when this lizard is dead on the street to take a report, find out what's going on. You know that Geico insurance lizard that comes up? Yeah, that one. So for the person who doesn't have a fear of the lizard, they don't think beyond that. All they see was, oh, it's just a little baby lizard. But for me, with my fear, I have this big story and this big scenario that I have created, that I just don't have to deal with this one terrorist right here. I have to deal with everyone that is associated with this terrorist, whether this terrorist is by itself or not. I am assuming that genetically this terrorist is not alone. Got a family somewhere. It's got a whole militia behind it somewhere. It's got government behind it somewhere. That's how it is. Okay? So I am going to be always thinking of ways in which to eliminate. And that's what I think is happening. I'm not saying that that's what's happening. I'm not a sociologist. But when you think of, the fact that when we say Black Lives Matter, and the response to that is all lives matter. But then now they have this big campaign that Blue Lives Matter. But I don't hear anybody else saying all lives matter. See, because I think if Blue Lives Matter, then Green Lives Matter. And when you take our young men and you put them in that green uniform and you send them out to the middle of nowhere to go and fight a war that they don't even know anything about. They don't even understand. They have no idea where it started, who started it, but you don't train them to fight the enemy. Any enemy that is an enemy of the United States, overseas or domestically. Any enemy. Anyone that they determine to be an enemy. Because by the time they finish with their training, they're so screwed up. Okay? Mentally and psychologically, they're screwed up. You send them to fight a war where they're killing people. They don't even know who the people are. The people ain't never done anything to them, and half the time they look like them because they're brown. And they have to kill these people. Men, women, or children. You're trained to look at all of them as your enemy. You're trained to look at all of them as cockroaches. Okay? And when you think about it with a cockroach, you're always trying to eliminate a cockroach. Nobody cares about the pain of a cockroach. You could step on it. Even ants. People will step on ants. Do you even think about the pain, the trauma, the intimidation? Like when an ant will see a foot coming down on it. But that's what these people are trained to do. Just go in there, blow up the whole place, kill everybody. It doesn't matter. The dogs, whatever. Kill, kill, kill. And then when you're done with that, you just come back home and you figure out how you're going to fix your life. They don't have any systems in place. I'm saying like it should be mandatory. It shouldn't be something that's an option or elective. They need to have a program in place, a mandatory program as soon as these people come back. Like how they do with the astronauts when they come back to Earth, or even divers. You don't just pop up from the middle of the ocean and just go on about your daily life because you have the bends. They don't take a pilot an astronaut that just came back to Earth after being up in space for 3 months, and then he just comes back out and go back into the regular environment. No, they have to go through some type of debriefing and reassessment and readjustment. So the same thing should be done with these soldiers. I am so totally against black men and black women joining the military. And it has nothing to do with me being against America. It has nothing to me being against any country. It has to do with you really don't care about these people when they come back. Okay? No rich white people, kids going into the military. When you see a white person's children joining the military, because they say, oh, go join the military so you can probably get a good education. Because if they can afford to pay for that education, they're not sending the kids to the military, especially when there's no draft. And black people do the same thing. They're like, oh, go join the military so you can get a good education. And 9 out of 10 times, there's no education. They just go to war. I'm seeing someone who I care so deeply about go through PTSD that I didn't even know they were experiencing. because you just think, oh, that they're just normal, they come back normal. No, and you don't even know the fears, you don't know the nightmares, you don't know the constant anxiety that these people face. And you could just go to a store and you look at them the wrong way, and then all of a sudden you're the enemy, you're under attack. Now, what has happened over the past 2 weeks with the slaying of police officers? I don't condone killing anybody, unless of course your life is in danger. You know, if I see somebody trying to hurt my son, I'm gonna kill them. I'm telling you, somebody trying to hurt my son, I'm gonna kill them. And I will walk my way to the police station and say, yeah, I just had to take somebody's life out because they're trying to take my son's life out. So I took him out. You know, do what you got to do. You know, I'll do the time. I did the crime, I'll do the time. That's me. But I don't sit on a daily basis thinking about how to kill people. But I sit on a daily basis thinking about how to rid this planet of lizards. I don't even think about the snakes and the frogs too much because I don't see them too much. But the lizards, every freaking day, I'm thinking about how to kill them. And then my attitude is, like when people tell me, well, because you know, I have the one with the earth people, like my son, who will say, well, you know, their lives matter. Mom, you can't like kill a cockroach, you can't kill ants, you can't kill a lizard because they have as much right to be on this planet as you, Ma. And I feel him, but you know what? My life matter. And all lives matter when they're going to tell me about the lizard. So if you're telling me that lizard is not going to hurt me, I know that that lizard is going to cause me to have a heart attack one day. That's in my head. I'm going to get a stroke. Something is going to happen one day with me and a lizard. Or I'm going to fall down and embrace something. Because I have scars. I have scars from lizard attacks. Well, the lizard didn't really attack me physically, but in me trying to get away from the lizard, I have hurt myself. You know, I've driven across the street, like straight through a stop sign, in you know, through a fence into a golf course because the lizard was on my windshield. You know, I fell out of my car when, you know, I was really trying to get out of the car because the lizard got in the car. I jumped out of the mailbox into my car. In the middle of the night, I'm trying to get out of the car. I happened to put my car in reverse. And as I'm out of the car is reversing and the door is open and it kept knocking me to the street. Knocking me down on the street. Knocking me down. Tore up my clothes, messed up my shoe. It was my birthday. Had on my beautiful birthday suit. You know, I'm bloodied. And when I went inside, you know, because you can't hear anything in the house. So even though I was screaming, my fiancé didn't hear me. When I got inside, he's like, what happened to you? Because he thought somebody beat me up. And really, when I looked in the lizard, I looked in the mirror, I had to laugh at myself. Because I said to him, I said, a lizard just kicked my ass. Royally. A lizard just kicked my ass, and I had to laugh. And he's like, how you mean a lizard kicked your ass? And so when I told him what happened. You know, but when you think about it, the lizard really didn't. Well, you know what, it jumped on my chest. So I reacted to that because, you know, you're beating it off my chest and I'm thinking about getting out my car and my neighbor is next door just looking at me, reading his newspaper, not paying attention. And so, you know, I thought my life was going to end that night and it would have been out of my fear. It would not have been because of the lizard that my life ended. It would have been because of my fear of the lizard because that car was about to roll over my body. And my little sister, who was in the car, who had never driven before in her life, had some divine intervention and a guidance, I should say, divine guidance, to put the gear lever into park. She didn't know what she was doing. That is what stopped that car from rolling over me that night. Okay? So, when you have all these people that have a fear of black people, and that fear is based on their ancestral history. And the fear of retaliation, and the fear of retribution, and the fear of karma. then anytime they see us, it probably just rubs them the wrong way. Like my hackles, rise when I see a lizard, or the thought of it. I can just hear it rustling in the bush. I don't even have to see it. I know the sound of it. And it makes me very uncomfortable and very uneasy. So when they're taking us out one by one, remember, in my mind, I think if I could take out a lizard one by one, eventually the whole planet will be rid of them. So that could be the thought in their mind as well. But what about if I really attack that lizard, and then their whole family or their friends that's been grieving, or people, other lizards in other communities that don't even know that lizard that I killed, now start grieving. And mind you, that lizard could have just come back from the lizard war. And so it's a little bit messed up in the mind. But they heard that Shaz just over there killing lizards. What do you think is going to happen? I'll probably look outside, maybe a whole lizard brigade in front of my house trying to kill me. It's about karma. It's about karma. And as much as I don't like the lizards and I want them to go, it's like, even today when I sprayed that lizard, trust me, it's something going through me that's telling me I just took a life. And I'm going to have to pay for that. But I'm willing to pay that debt. I'm ready. Because that is a nuisance to me. That lizard was a nuisance to me. It's a menace. And I don't want it around. And I don't know if I am simplifying what's going on, but it's an analogy that came to me this morning in spite of everything that is going on around us right now. Like I says, I don't condone the taking of anybody's life, because that person got loved ones, that is going to be grieving, is going to be saddened by this loss of life. So we have to come to some type of resolution. First, to begin, you cannot discredit and disvalue the life that you took. And then now, all of a sudden, there's more value on your life when your life is taken. It cannot be. Because we're all human beings on this planet, equally. You made it so that we're not equal. But we need oxygen to live. And we need blood to be flowing through our bodies to live. Well, at least for right now. I don't know what they're making in the lab. But we need that oxygen. We need the blood. We need water. Some people need Jesus. So, when you think of it, we're supposed to be alike. But when you're annihilating us, something is going to happen. And it has to stop. You have to address the issue. You have to own up to the issue. Because it's real. It's real. Okay? First to begin, you have to own up to what you're doing. I am not saying that every police officer is a bad police officer. People will hear me say that all the time. No, I know the good ones. The good ones are my clients. The good ones are my friends. The good ones are my family members. And I dated a few good ones. Outside of that, I can't vouch for nobody else. Outside of these good ones, when they outside of my presence, I don't know what they become. Maybe they're not good to you. But I could say they're good to me. See, when all the other bad stuff going on, and people like, where are the good cops? I say, well, they were with me getting their hair done. So they can be out there fighting that fight. Because the good ones was here with me. We were having a good time in my studio. So, we have to, if we're seriously saying that all lives matter, it has to be inclusive of all lives. It cannot be inclusive only when we say, we need oxygen. We can't breathe. We need oxygen. And then somebody over there talking about, well, everybody needs oxygen. That's right. Everybody needs oxygen. But I'm telling you now that I need oxygen. and I can't breathe. But you don't give me my fair share of air. We're going to have a serious, serious breakdown. You cannot win war with war. The only thing that you can win a war with is love. You cannot, it's like they have a war on everything. They have a war against drugs, you got more drugs. They have a war against crime, you got more crime. They got a war against abortions, you got more abortions. So I think what we need to do is have a war against peace so that we can have more peace. Okay? Let's just have the consciousness of having a war against peace, because whatever we focus on becomes more prevalent. It becomes more obvious. I focus on the lizards so they become more prevalent in my life. My energy attracts it. My consciousness attracts it. I become an attractor factor for the lizards. So for those people that are saying, okay, well, they love everybody, let's start now just having a war against everybody and everything. That's good. So we can have more of it. Have a war against everything that's good, because we're going to focus all our energy in this war and this battle and this preparation and arming ourselves against whatever it is that we want to have a war against, it becomes abundant. So we have a war against love. We're going to have a war against peace. And therefore, as a matter of fact, to add to that, life. We're going to have a war against life. So we will have more love, more peace, more life. And with that said, I wanted to say I'm out. But before I go, just a minute. I need to address this conference last night. The convention thing. I really didn't look at it, but I know I did see that Melania Trump said during her pre-interview that she wrote most of her speech. She said, I had very little help. Very little help. So when you get out there and say, look, I wrote this, had very little help, maybe somebody had to put in the little commas and the periods or what, punctuate it for me. You have to take full responsibility for whatever is written. Because they didn't ask her, well, how long have you gone over? Did you read over your speech while you were in flight here? She says, no, I just looked it over once because I wrote it. I had very little help. So this morning, I'm seeing on the news that there's accusations and allegations of plagiarism. And they have a split screen showing the First Lady, Mrs. Obama, giving her speech when her husband was campaigning. And they have, on the other side, Melania, wannabe First Lady, giving her speech. And it's verbatim. But yet they declare that this is not plagiarism. I don't care if you wrote it, somebody else wrote it, came out